7 years in, and she still chose him. Emma and I had been together for 7 years. We weren't perfect, but we were solid. At least, I thought we were until Noah entered the picture. They hit it off right away. Conversations flowed easily. Their laughs came often, and the energy between them, it felt too comfortable. Every night, Emma started making 2 desserts, one for me, and one she claimed was for her friend Noah. I didn't say anything at first. She hadn't crossed a line yet, until one evening, Noah asked her something that shook her. "If I'd met you first, do you think you would have married me instead?" She didn't answer him. Instead, she turned around and smashed a vase, the same one I had custom made for our anniversary. That whole day, she had been off, distracted, like she was trying to tell me something but couldn't find the courage. Eventually, I asked, "Did something happen?" She hesitated, then said softly, "Jake's wife is away on a business trip. He's home alone. He's a little scared. Asked me to keep him company tonight. But your arm, your injury. I wasn't sure if I should go. I wanted to talk to you first." Her voice was gentle, caring. She sounded torn. "I'd broken my arm recently in a car accident. Surgery, painkillers, sleepless nights." Emma had been by my side through all of it. She cried outside the operating room, held my hand through every wakeful second, stayed up wiping the sweat off my forehead when the pain wouldn't let me sleep. Sometimes, she even rubbed her cheek on my hand like it brought her comfort. "How can I sleep knowing you're in pain?" She once whispered, tears in her voice. "What if something happens and I don't wake up in time?" I'd never forgive myself. Even when she had to go to work, she made sure my mom was there with me, fussing over every tiny detail. What I ate, how I slept, my medication schedule. That's why it stung so much when she agreed to leave that night. Just a few seconds of hesitation, and then she nodded. "I'll be back as soon as I can," she said. "Take care of yourself. Call me if anything happens." She left in a rush, grabbing just a change of clothes. I smiled and waved as she looked back one last time. But the moment the door closed, my heart sank. Something didn't sit right. I knew who she was meeting. She called him Manager Lee. I'd met him once by accident, about a year ago. I went to surprise Emma at a cafe near her office. I hadn't told her I was coming, just wanted to take her out for lunch. She walked in unexpectedly, and the receptionist instantly perked up like royalty had arrived. Emma smiled at him brightly, and he smiled back. They didn't speak much, but something in that silent exchange bothered me. I brushed it off. When she saw me, she was surprised. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" I didn't want to interrupt, I said. She introduced Lee as her manager. He seemed calm, casual, friendly. That day, Emma raved about the cookies from that cafe. She even got the office to switch their afternoon tea orders to that place just because of those cookies. What I didn't know, the cookies she shared with Lee weren't even on the regular menu. Fast forward to now, Emma told me she had hot pot with her friend Lily and was exhausted. "No video calls tonight, just rest." But something in me itched. The cafe staff told me Lee had left early that day with a huge bouquet of roses. "Our boss's birthday," the girl said, smiling. "He probably went on a romantic date with his girlfriend." Romantic date. I nodded, ordered a coffee to go, then left. Emma once bought me a smartwatch to track my vitals after I fainted from overwork. It had GPS, to not something we ever used, but it was there. Before she left that night, I slipped the watch into her handbag. At T2 a.m., that watch had been sitting still on the 12th floor of a hotel for hours. I didn't rush. My arm throbbed. I took a painkiller, lay in bed, white noise playing. But I couldn't sleep. Just like that other night, the night I checked her phone for the first time, she had cut her hand while peeling fruit, spilled water while pouring it, then snapped, sweeping everything off the table, including the vase from our wedding anniversary. She didn't explain, just cried and cleaned in silence. That night, I found her passed out on the sofa. Red wine, tears, pain. Her phone screen still open to a message from Lee. "If I had met you first, would you have married me?" She hadn't replied, but she didn't delete it either. At T6 a.m. the next morning, I went to the hotel. I didn't care anymore. "Emma is my wife," I told the receptionist. "I need to know what room she's in. If not, I'll call the police." She hesitated, then caved, gave me the room number. I waited. Less than 40 minutes later, the door opened. Lee stood there, behind him Emma. She had her hand on his arm, but quickly pulled back when she saw me. "Lee, I'm sorry," she said, her voice low. "We can't Do this. I didn't understand. Couldn't breathe. Emma, I said. Let's go. She looked shaken. Alex, I can explain. Lee stepped in front of her, blocking me like a hero in some bad movie. Don't touch her, he warned. I won't let you. I stared at him. Fine. Keep her. Just remind her to sign the divorce papers first. Emma yanked her arm from Lee's grasp. Alex, please. Let's just go home, she begged. Nothing happened. It was his birthday. I didn't want him to be alone, that's all. I was scared to tell you because I knew you'd be angry. I stayed silent the whole drive home. She kept talking, explaining, crying, apologizing. Finally, I looked at her and said, Emma, let's get a divorce. She froze. Then she took my hand and pressed it gently to her stomach. I'm pregnant. I blinked. My world stopped. What? When did you find out? She didn't answer. I pulled my hand away like it had been burned. You knew, and still spent the night with him? My voice cracked. You're using this baby as a shield now, as a reason for me to stay? Her face crumbled. I lost my mind, but nothing happened. I swear, please don't leave me, but the trust had shattered. That vase, the one she smashed, wasn't just glass. It was everything we'd built, 7 years. And she still chose him. We'd been married for 3 years. 7 together. One day, I even laughed to myself, thinking, maybe it was time for a baby, but deep down, it hurt, because we'd been trying from the very beginning. We never used protection, not once. Emma was so anxious about it at first. She couldn't understand why it wasn't happening. We went through all the tests, clinic after clinic. The results came in. It wasn't me. It was her, but I never once said it like that. I never wanted her to feel like she was the problem. So whenever anyone asked why we didn't have kids yet, I'd just smile and say, I'm still enjoying our time together, just the two of us. I'm not ready to share her yet. And it was true in its own way. I loved her. We both wanted a baby. We used to imagine what it would be like, how we'd react when we finally saw those 2 pink lines. I thought we'd cry tears of joy together, but Emma didn't tell me when it happened. She found out she was pregnant and kept it from me. She went to the checkup alone, and I didn't need to think too hard. I knew why she hesitated. Not about the baby, but about everything else, because of Lee. Another man had crept so far into her life that she wasn't even sure if she wanted to have a child with her husband. It felt absurd, unbearable. I ran to the bathroom. I threw up. I was on my knees, clutching the toilet, shaking like I'd been gutted from the inside. Outside the door, Emma was banging, begging me to come out. Her voice was soft, almost broken. Please don't scare me like this, Alex. Please open the door. Please. I sat there feeling like a failure, not just as a man, as a husband, as a person. I wanted to disappear, but even my own pain felt small next to the weight of betrayal. That night, I didn't say a word. I just slept in the guest room. Oddly, I fell asleep quickly, maybe because I was emotionally drained. When I woke up the next morning, Emma had already made breakfast. She was standing there, pale and exhausted. I could tell she hadn't slept at all. In the past, I would have rushed to her side, held her, told her to rest. But that morning, my heart was numb. Alex, eat something, she said. I didn't respond at first. Then I looked at her. Emma, we need to talk. She nodded slowly, bracing herself. Where should I start? She asked. I looked straight at her. I gave you a chance, Emma. I really thought we could be okay. She looked confused, even hurt. I continued, my voice tight. That night, Lee asked you if you'd have married me if you met him first. You broke down. You cried like a child. Then you passed out drunk on the couch. I paused. I checked your phone. She froze. I never believed in looking through a partner's phone. I thought if you had to do that, you'd already lost the trust. But that night I had to know. Her hands trembled. Fingers fidgeted with her sleeves. She looked like she wanted to vanish. But I didn't stop. You didn't reply to his message. But silence is still an answer. Emma, there was a long silence. Then she whispered, if you saw the messages, then you should know I didn't cross any line. He was just a friend. I was drunk that night and my emotions were all over the place. But it stopped there. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't look at her. I just stared into the distance and said, April 3rd. We were supposed to go to the movies. I made a reservation. I was looking forward to it, but you said you had to work late. I looked at her. You didn't. You went out singing with him. Emma flinched. You made desserts. One for me, One for him. You gave him access to your building with a card you claimed was for me. On your birthday, you snuck out at midnight to meet him. He gave you a bracelet. Her eyes were full of tears. You say it meant nothing. Just chatting? Emma, you talk to him 27 minutes a day. Every day. On your way home, do you remember the last time you and I talked for 27 minutes? In a single day? She tried to speak but choked. I needed someone to talk to. I felt alone. And he was there. But it was only emotional, I swear. I took a breath. Emma, how far does it have to go before it's cheating? When you cross the line? Or when you lean over it and just look long enough? When the bullet leaves the gun? Or when it's loaded and pointed right at me? I wanted to forgive her. God, I wanted to. But how could I? Then she asked me to let her see Lee one last time. Just to end things cleanly. That was the moment I died inside. Emma, I said, let's get a divorce. She broke down. She promised to change. She swore she'd cut off all contact. Never step in that cafe again. Cook for me every day. Wait outside my office just to see me during lunch, but it was too late. I'd never been one for after-the-fact apologies. Divorce wasn't as easy as I thought. Emma refused to sign the papers, so I had to go the legal route. I started packing. She went into a frenzy. Why are you doing this? I admitted everything. I begged you. Why are you still being so cruel? Am I so unforgivable? Her voice cracked. Alex, I'm begging you. Can't we be okay? For everything we've been through? I clenched the shirt in my hand so hard it crumpled. Then I threw it on the floor. Emma, I'm begging you to stop. Stop making me hate you more. She stumbled back like I'd slapped her. Then she clutched her stomach, her face turned pale, and she collapsed. We rushed to the hospital. The doctor said the pregnancy was fragile. Emotional stress had pushed her to the brink of miscarriage. Her parents came. They were furious, accusing me, asking if I'd mistreated her. I was too tired to argue. Emma, fragile and pale in that bed, begged them to stop. Then I said it again, calmly. I want a divorce. Her father exploded, swung at me. I caught his arm midair. Emma screamed. Her mom pulled her back. How can you do this? She's pregnant. That word again. Pregnant. Like that made everything okay. Everyone kept saying, she's pregnant. Just forgive her. But to me, that wasn't a reason to stay. That was the last crack in everything I believed in. I loved her. I wanted a family. But she crushed all of that the moment she stopped choosing me. She stayed in the hospital for 15 days. Lee came once bringing flowers and fruit. But Emma told him coldly, leave. Don't come again. He later came to see me. Smoked a cigarette. Looked like hell. I thought I could win her over, he said. But I lost. She's yours. I asked, did she send you to say that? He smiled bitterly. Yeah, her final request to me. I laughed in disbelief. So I called Emma. She picked up instantly. Alex, I'm getting discharged soon. You'll come pick me up, right? I said one word, abort. She broke down crying. Do you really hate me that much? Emma, I said, if our child asks one day why we divorced, what would you say? Pregnancy, breastfeeding. They might delay divorce, but they won't stop it. She sobbed. I've apologized. I've begged. Just for making one mistake. You want to destroy everything? Then she hung up. I won't abort, and I won't divorce you. She moved back home. She didn't call me, but her mother did. Repeatedly. At first, her tone was kind, gentle even, but then it changed, anger and shame creeping in. Alex, you're a man. Can't you be a bit more forgiving? Emma said quietly. At first, I only had a male friend. Nothing actually happened. Do you really have to be so unforgiving? It's ugly. Honestly, I had already prepared myself for the worst, but then came the news that Emma's mother was hospitalized. I asked a friend what happened, but he just shook his head. No one really knew. Apparently, Emma's parents had a fight. No one knew why. How is she now? I asked. She's awake, my friend said, but she's crying and screaming, saying she wants to die. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. Glad she was awake. My mom asked if I was going to visit, but I was busy with work and didn't. Since I decided to part ways with Emma, I felt there was no point in holding on to false hope. It's strange how people can change so fast. At first, I thought Emma's betrayal would crush me, that the pain would be unbearable, but as the days went by, it hurt less. I started to accept the reality. My marriage was over. I hadn't planned on visiting Emma's mom. but then she called me. Her voice was sad hoarse. It made me hesitate. Still, after some thought, I went. When I arrived, Emma's mother looked worn out, haggard. Emma herself had lost so much weight she looked like she could collapse at any moment, helpless, in pain. "Alex," Emma's mother said, trembling. "Thank you. Thank you for coming." I nodded and stepped inside the hospital room. She told me about Emma's father. He was cheating, or rather, he'd found someone new, someone he called his true love. She said the woman was 2 years younger than Emma. He claimed he'd never felt so connected with anyone before. They ate together, fished together, traveled together. He said he felt alive again. "I sacrificed my whole life for this family," she told me bitterly. "So why can't he live for himself just once?" Her voice shook with pain. "He only feels responsible to me and this family. It's us who held him back." I could see how much it hurt her. "How dare he?" She spat. "Hasn't he ever thought about my sacrifices? How can he just throw away all those years with a few words? He's cheating, and yet he tries to make it sound noble." "I won't let them be together," she said fiercely, gripping my hand so hard it trembled. "I'd rather die than let that happen. If he wants to divorce me and be with her, no way." Her words hit me hard. That's when I finally understood why she wanted to see me, to share her pain. Before, when Emma casually brushed off her mistake as just a minor conflict, blaming me for being petty, I didn't get it. But now, seeing her mother break down, I realized you can't truly understand pain until you live it yourself. I didn't offer comfort or sympathy. After she finished, I quietly pushed her hand away. She looked at me hopefully, but I said flatly, "Rest well. I have things to do, so I'm leaving." Outside the hospital room, Emma was waiting. She looked at me with those eyes full of longing. "Can we talk?" she asked. "Talk about what?" I said, my voice cold. Even with the divorce, I just want it resolved, not dragged out. I had 2 questions for her. First, if her dad hadn't said anything about divorce, but just had a close female friend, would she feel sorry for her mom? Or would she empathize with her dad? Second, her dad's close relationship with this woman didn't start yesterday. So why bring up divorce now? Ignoring the emotions flickering across her face, I turned and walked away. Her father was determined. He was ready to give up everything just to divorce. It shocked everyone. Emma had always had the image of a loving family, good background. She'd never really faced hardships. Her dad was her hero, her role model. She even said she wanted to marry a man like him. Her mom was gentle, calm, the woman Emma wanted to be. After graduating, Emma used her family connections to get a mid-level manager job at a company. She'd never known much hardship. Only our divorce was a real storm in her life. I understood her. She knew she'd done wrong, but didn't think it was that serious. She thought admitting her mistake was enough, that the big deal wasn't so big. But her father's situation seemed to wake her up. Suddenly, she stopped contacting me. Yet she would often appear near our neighborhood, her car parked there for hours. One day, she finally called me over. We sat on a bench, silence hanging heavy between us. Finally, Emma spoke. "I've thought about the questions you asked." I asked her, "Why the divorce now?" She said it was because her mom's attitude made her think having a close female friend was acceptable. She also thought I could understand her falling for someone else because you did the same, Emma admitted, voice trembling. She thought I wouldn't blame her if she asked for a divorce. She said she even went to see that girl trying to convince her to break up with her dad. But the woman said, "Don't you have a close male friend? You didn't even want to have a baby because of him. The only difference is you weren't brave enough." She told me to learn from my dad, Emma whispered. How could he do that? They were in love all this time. And the day before he asked for a divorce, he hugged my mom before leaving. Emma buried her face in her hands and cried tears for her father's betrayal of their family. But her tears didn't move me. "Alex, do you hate me that much?" she asked, voice cracking. I tightened my grip on the bench, feeling the prick of a thorn dig into my finger. Painful but grounding. I thought back to those painful days. At first, I was sad to discover she had such a close male friend. Then, I was confused when he confessed, and she didn't respond. I thought maybe she hadn't betrayed me, but she didn't cut ties. She kept doing those things that hurt me until that night when she agreed to meet him. That's when I felt relief. They say the person involved is often the last to see the truth. Her silence wasn't because she didn't want to respond to his confession. It was because she couldn't. She broke down, felt miserable, cried, even knowing he had feelings for her and she didn't keep her distance. Because she couldn't let go, she agreed to drink with him because she had other thoughts. What stopped her was probably the last shred of moral decency. When I realized she liked him, I hated her. Emma looked at me, pain in her eyes. But I felt something else. A sense of relief, but all that's in the past now. Hatred is too intense. It hurts others. And yourself. It's unnecessary. If you really feel sorry for me, I said, then just agree to the divorce and let us both keep some dignity. At the end of our conversation, Emma wiped away her tears. Do you have time tomorrow? Accompany me for the abortion. Just consider it the last time you'll be with me. And Emma, we divorced on a sunny morning. Emma asked softly, can we still be friends after this? I shook my head. No, we both need to start over. She tried to smile, but tears fell instead. Alex, I'm sorry, she whispered. I accepted those words calmly and walked away. Without looking back, Emma's parents were still causing drama. Her father had already set up a new home. Her mother argued and cursed every day. But it didn't change his mind. Her mother started blaming Emma, creating one scene after another. I didn't need to see it myself. Countless people were affected. At first, I still ran into Emma now and then, but over time, less and less. Her mother's antics affected her father's career and Emma's job, causing ripple effects. Some people sighed in sympathy, others just watched the drama unfold. Even my mom said, it's a good thing you got out of that mess early or we would have been dragged down too. I said nothing. Later, I ran into Lee once. He had a new relationship now. He apologized, talking about his foolish past and how he'd moved on. His face was full of relief, like he wanted to laugh off all our grudges. It felt ridiculous to me. Are you really sorry or just looking for comfort? I told him, I don't owe you forgiveness. You destroyed my marriage and my family. That guilt is yours to bear. All I needed to do was cut away the dead weight and move on. I have work and a family now. A failed marriage hurt for a while, but it won't hurt me forever. The key is to move on with time. The first time I met Lee was shortly after his cafe opened. I was delivering food on time, and he asked if he could use the company's internal elevator. I agreed, but later wondered if I'd have said yes if it were anyone else. Probably not. There was something about Lee that caught my eye. The second time we met, Lee bought me a cup of coffee to say thanks. I told my boss to get an extra elevator card for my husband. He gave me a special cookie he made with a secret recipe. This little back and forth helped us get to know each other. My company's afternoon tea orders often came from Lee's cafe. She exchanged contact info with Lee after they ran into each other while hiking. Turns out he loved hiking too. Emma felt an unexpected sense of comfort being around him. Lee suggested, how about we hike together from now on? Emma smiled but hesitated. It didn't feel quite right. Eventually, she agreed, especially after they bumped into each other again at a concert. That concert was supposed to be with Alex, but he canceled last minute because of work. Emma didn't say it out loud, but she was disappointed. Lee's presence seemed to fill that void, and they quickly discovered they had so much in common. That kind of easy connection fascinated Emma. During a casual chat, Emma mentioned she made desserts for Alex every day. Lee joked, if a woman made me desserts every day, I'd love her to death. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She half joked, want me to make some for you? Lee was serious. She thought it was harmless, just one more dessert. On Valentine's Day, Lee complained, being single for so long, I can't even stand the smell of love. She got 13 matcha chocolates today. I'm so jealous it makes me want to fall in love. Emma teased, do you really have to be in love to get chocolates? I can give you some. At the time, Emma didn't think much of it. Was she hoping Lee wouldn't actually fall in love with her? Maybe. Did she like Lee? Probably. But she hadn't sorted out what that meant. What she was sure of was that Lee's feelings were definitely about more than just friendship. Women are sensitive to these things, and she didn't want to hear it out loud. She couldn't give Lee what he wanted. Not because she didn't care, but because she had a happy family and a loving husband. To her, Lee was just a friend. But then Lee confessed his feelings, and that crushed Emma inside. It hurt so much. She found herself wanting to avoid Alex. As if Alex's presence was a barrier between her and Lee. She didn't respond to Lee's confession, and he pretended like he hadn't said anything. They went back to how things were, but things had changed. Lee's gestures grew more intimate, and Emma started hesitating about the pregnancy. Half a month after Lee asked if she was pregnant, Emma found out she actually was. She should have been happy and told Alex right away. Instead, she sat alone in the car for an hour, tore up the diagnosis, and went to meet Lee for karaoke. Her mind was spinning Alex, Lee, the baby. She needed to think. That night, she lost control. They hugged and kissed. Lee unbuttoned her clothes, stopping just before crossing a line. Emma pushed him away. "No, not now. I haven't decided yet. I'm married. I'm pregnant." She needed more time, but she didn't realize she was already running out of it. Alex found out when Emma opened the door and saw him standing there. She didn't think it was serious at first. Maybe she was just deceiving herself, convincing herself it was harmless. She had just made a friend she got along with well. She hadn't cheated or betrayed him. Alex had every right to be upset and angry. She would apologize. But divorce? That felt too extreme. After Alex found out, Emma's emotions swung wildly between guilt and frustration. She felt guilty when she saw his sadness and pain, but when he kept bringing up divorce, she got irritated. She thought it was just a mistake, one not serious enough to never be forgiven. Why couldn't he just forgive her? Emma didn't understand until her own dad asked for a divorce. During that tough time, Emma was in a dark place. Her mom kept complaining alongside her, saying Alex was immature and unforgiving. "It's not a big deal," they said. "He's making it seem like the sky is falling. Life isn't a novel or a fairy tale. It can't always be perfect. Every family has problems. No one's perfect. Sometimes you just have to turn a blind eye." That was said one evening at the dinner table. Her dad thought about it for a moment and asked, "So you think it's not a big deal?" Her mom answered without hesitation, "Of course not. That's just how the world is now." Then her dad said, "I fell in love with someone else. Let's get divorced. I'm leaving with nothing." That woman had been in his life for 2 years. Calling her a girl felt strange since she was only 2 years younger than Emma. Her dad told Emma it was the first time he had ever truly liked someone so much. "I've sacrificed everything, family, career. Can I live for myself just once?" Hearing him talk about this other woman, Emma felt like she'd been slapped across the face. How much did her dad and that woman resemble her and Lee? She felt exposed, humiliated, ashamed. And she couldn't run away, not when her mom had just fainted. Then Alex's two questions hit her like a lightning bolt. If your dad hadn't mentioned divorce but had a close female friend, would you feel sorry for your dad or your mom? And this relationship didn't start yesterday. Why bring up divorce now? Those questions were a wake-up call. Emma finally understood. You only feel that kind of pain when it happens to you. What pushed her to decide on divorce wasn't just her dad's actions, but her mom's hysterical outburst. "You're just like your dad, using the same excuses for cheating." "Disgusting," Alex said coldly. "At least your dad admits he fell in love with someone else. You don't even dare admit it. You're worse than your dad." Emma trembled, crying bitterly. "No, it's not like that." But deep down, she hated her dad. She didn't understand him. She didn't even want to speak to him. And now she was scared that Alex hated her too. From that moment on, Emma's regret began.